Welcome to another episode of Uncensored. Today we have the Avery Jane, also known as the F Machine. She goes by she, they. She is an international two-time award-winning exotic powerhouse, and she puts all her fans under her spell with her hardcore scenes and authentic love for all things down there. She has worked for the top studios like Brazzers, Reality Kings, Bang Bros, Adult Time, Elegant Angel, Legal Porno, amongst many others. And Avery has graced the pages of Avian, Hustler, Taboo, Xbiz World, as well as cover of Erotic Sky Magazine, Volume 3. And she's won Urban X Awards for both Female Performer of the Year in 2023, as well as Hottest Fetish Star in 2024, which we are going to get into. Avery is considered one of the top hardcore ebony adult performers to date, setting records and creating viral scenes for companies across both America and Europe. Welcome, Avery Jane. So honored to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
I really want to dive into how you got into the industry, and how you got to the place you are as like such a successful performer. What was your start in the industry? What brought you into the industry?
Um, okay, initially, like the first start was I kind of entered into just like sex work in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I started working at a sex shop,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was around the time that the 50 Shades of Grey movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so our boss sent us to the stockroom for like a BDSM 101 class.
Love that place.
Yeah, so
Very
much.
stocked.
Love it so much. Big fan, big fan. And so, we go to this BDSM 101 class to like learn so we can like sell product and stuff if anyone had any questions. And from there I met so many people, and they were like, "Oh, well, there's this dungeon party and there's this and there's that." So
Mhm.
I kind of ended up just like falling into the scene, and I think
Mhm.
within a week I was like doing like live performances and like demoing at classes and stuff like that, and like doing performances. And then from there I kind of just like gravitated towards everything. So then like I found my way to stripping and webcamming. Um, and after a while I kind of did everything in the sex work realm and was like, well, shit, porn's the last thing I haven't done yet, but I was like, well, I've been a sexy lady on
Mhm.
the internet for a while, so then I decided to do porn in 2019, which was amazing because then I started putting content online and just like started building, and a few months later COVID happened, and so like I
Mm.
lost my job because I had a job at the time. I lost my job, everything shut down,
Mhm.
everything was crazy. um but yeah, I found something new and it's carried me through ever since.
Yeah. So you started, let's dig into some of those details of like how you started then. I know you mentioned that you were a pro sub for a while. What is that like? I'm super curious about that because I've been a dominatrix my entire career. What is pro subbing? What does starting as a pro sub look like? And like what's the process of that like?
So, I mean, I kind of got like just like thrown into the deep end. So I'm
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I guess it's gonna be different for everyone's experience. But yeah, I don't know. I started hanging out at like local dungeons and just like sex clubs and events. And if there was a class for like rope bondage, I would be like the demo bottom for that, and I would get tied
Mm-hmm.
up or suspended. Or if there was like a class for fire play, I love fires, so I just happily stand there and just like get set on fire and stuff. Um, so things like that. I would do needle play, just
Mm-hmm. Love needles.
so much, so much. Impact play, especially. I would do a lot of like impact play scenes.
Girl, we gotta film together.
Can we
Ready?
please?
Like a few minutes into this, I was like, we need a film.
We'd have so much fun. Um, I used to like hang out in the upstairs room at Bar Sin and like
Uh-huh.
do performances there. Um, yeah. I remember one year I worked at DomCon and I just kind of like assisted different DOMs at DomCon. I got to be like a human sushi platter where they like put
Ooh.
sushi on me for I think it was like the master slave social and like everyone came and ate sushi off me.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is my job. Like, I'm covered in fish and sriracha.
Have you been kinky your whole life, or is that something you discovered, like, through the sex shop, demobotomy, and performing?
I think I've always been like sexually in tune my
Mhm.
whole life, but
Mhm.
I think I just didn't like discover kink in that world. Um Not until I like moved to Los Angeles and really just got to expand
Mhm.
my world because I'm from Louisiana,
Mm.
country, smaller towns, not it's
Yeah.
nothing like Los Angeles. So yeah, when I got out here, I was just like, "Ooh, so much adventure."
Yeah, Louisiana girl to the big city. What age did you move to, LA?
I was 19.
Okay,
Yep, I
yeah.
I did, like, 1 year of college back in Louisiana. I did 1 year at LSU,
Mhm.
and then I was just like, "You know what? This isn't for me. School's not for me. The South isn't for me."
Mhm.
And I, like, dragged some of my family, and we just bopped on over to LA. I was like, "Let's go."
I love that journey.
Yeah.
And, so you've known that you were sexually attuned your whole life. Was there a moment where you were, like, demo bottoming or at a kink event where you're like, "Oh, I really like this BDSM space." Like, was there a moment or event that really sparked that part of you and really connected you to the community?
Honestly, I think it was immediately, like, after after that BDSM class, I think, like, a day or 2 later, I went to a dungeon in North Hollywood, and I think, like, just that first night hanging out the dungeon, it was, like, my first time getting tied up, my first time being suspended, my
Mhm.
first time doing fire play, my first time doing impact
You
play.
went all in for your first
I
time.
went balls to the
Girl, you
wall.
went all in.
Yeah, I'm basically like what you'd consider like I don't like to say the word like adrenaline junkie,
Mhm.
but like I'm like an intensity junkie.
Girl, same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if something's like insane, I want to try it at least once and see if it's my vibe because
Mhm.
I like to have fun and try everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that first night, I was like, "Oh shit, like this is cool."
Fire for the first time's like that's like a step. Yeah, okay, walk me through that first session. Walk me through that first dungeon. Like, what did they exactly do to you? How did they introduce the fire? How were you, like, scared? Were you nervous? Or you were like, "Give me all of it." What did that look like?
So I that night I remember I met up with a couple
Mhm.
and we were playing in like the dojo room and like, of the dungeon and this was my first time learning about everything. So I was
Mhm.
like with a man and his slaves and
Mhm.
like multiple women who were his slaves and he was the
Mhm.
master and they were like teaching me about like slave protocol and dynamics and he did do a session with one of his slaves that night
Mhm.
first. So he was like, we're gonna play, we're gonna do all this stuff. She's used to this. You can sit here and watch. And I just watched and observed. And then afterwards he kind of asked me, like, how much of that did you enjoy? Was there
Mhm.
anything that piqued your interest? And I was like, all of it. Like literally every second of that. I want that. And so we did it.
That's amazing. What type of rope did he do on you? And I'm actually not super familiar with fire play. I've never done it myself, nor had it done on me before.
Ooh.
So I want to hear about the rope and then also like what the fire entail.
Okay. So that night, like my very first rope suspension ever, so technically we weren't aiming to do a suspension.
Hmm.
We did a rope tie where he had my like one of my legs tied up.
Yeah.
And just the way he had my legs, I'm not gonna lie, I lost my balance and I was like, wait, I'm falling. And I just kind of fell and let it happen.
Uh-huh.
And that's when it turned into a suspension where he was just kind of like, like, are you okay? Like,
Yeah,
is
moving
this
with the
fine?
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like having a grand time just like swinging around. And I was like, no, like, this is fine. This is fine.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was a blast. I love rope. I love that feeling of I honestly think it was that moment where I was just like, I'm falling and I just let myself fall and I was fine and it felt
Hmm.
so good. I think literally that was like my introduction to like the surrender of rope bondage.
Yes. Yeah.
Loved it ever since that
I
moment.
hear that all the time too. It's sort of like, you know that like there's this greater force, which is gravity, that's in play, but that someone has like rigged a situation for you where you can be held, right? Like rope is a holding, but also tension and pain at the same time, and you
All of
have to
it.
kind of try to hold yourself up.
It's a lot. I love it. I love rope so much. I get so excited.
Yeah, and what did you do for the fire play? For people who don't know, like what is exactly is fire play? How is that done safely, right?
So
All of that.
it's all about the tools that you use. Fire play is when you have like a wand or a torch or like something, usually with like a cotton end or there's different materials. And then you soak it typically in either like alcohol or lighter fluid. It
Mhm,
depends on what you're doing. Because I know it's different. The fuel's different depending on if you're doing like fire play versus fire eating versus
mhm,
fire spitting versus fire breathing.
mhm,
They all use different. So with the fire play, I believe we were using alcohol. And you set the torches in alcohol, and when you set it on fire, essentially it's the alcohol that's burning and
mhm,
nothing else. So when you draw that wand across your skin, you're feeling that heat, that warmth. It's
mhm,
exciting. It like wakens you up, but you're not burning yourself. Granted, if
mhm.
they put it on you and sit it there, I'm sure you'll burn.
Yeah.
But just that, and if you do it and you have hair on your arm, you'll smell the arm hair burning off and it'll singe off. But
Mhm,
something about it's magic just feeling that warmth so directly. Just you could do it all over your body. So
mhm.
I would literally just stand there on like a St. Andrew's cross or something and have someone just kind of paint on your body with the fire.
Uh-huh.
And you can like do different things with it. Like if you blow on the fire and it blows on the skin,
Mhm.
it's all sensation play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think for people who might not know what fire play is, they assume you might be drenched in something, they're like lighting on fire, but that's not the case, right? It's a very skilled practice where the person who is playing with you is, like making sure it's a really regulated sort of situation.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
They'll always like test it on themselves first, and like that was
Mhm.
how I got introduced to fire play. Was someone showed it on themselves first, like look, see, I'm touching it. This is what it is. Actually, I think the first time the first time I did fire play was at a fire play class where I bottomed for it, but that was my first time doing it.
Oh my God, I love that.
But still, the dom like touched his hand first and like
Yeah.
showed that, and that's all I need. If I can see
Mhm.
that it's fine, I'm all in for it. So, he was talking about fire play, explaining it to us, showing it this, that's that, and I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
like
put that on me. I want
yeah."
to feel the warmth of it. Are there any sort of like pro subbing sessions or experiments you've done that really stand out to you when you were starting?
Ooh. I think honestly, one of my most memorable, I think, was the first time I did like a live sex show.
Mhm.
That was, like, a huge deal to me because I was like, "Okay, like, I'm slutty. I like an audience. I'm an exhibitionist, but, like, I've never really done anything like that for an audience."
Mhm.
And I got booked for this, like, it was like a private event that they used to do in LA, and I got booked with, this pro dom that I had, like, a huge crush on, and I was just yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, like, they're the most beautiful creature I've ever seen in my life." Like, I'd been a fan, and I got booked to bottom for them, um, and, they strapped me, they used a strap and strapped me in front of the audience, and we were, like, in a room on a mattress, just surrounded by people, and I remember, like, one of my friends, like, did my makeup and my hair that day before the event. It was like yeah, I was like, "I'm so excited, guys, I'm so nervous." So my friends were like, "Okay, we'll get you ready," and, they got me all ready and then sent me off. And I did that, and not only was it my first time, like, bottoming, like, in front of people and just,
Mhm.
like, just, like, doing a live sex show, but I think that was, like, my first time having very public, like, queer sex as well.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, I don't know, that night, that was just Oh, it was everything.
Okay, walk me through it. Were you on a stage? Were you, like, in the middle of a crowd? Like, what was the setup for a live show like that? And how did you prep for it outside of your friends doing hair and makeup for you? Like, did you negotiate a scene with the top? Did you talk about, like, a run of show? Like, what does that look like for people who might not have been to something like this before?
Okay. So yes, when I did get booked for it, we did have like a discussion about, what we'll be performing and what the show is. And so I was like, okay, like it's a strap-on scene. It's, for X amount of time. I know who it's with. They gave us, like kind of wardrobe what to wear. And so I was prepared enough for that. And when I showed up, I remember they like booked out a club. They booked out I don't know if it was like I guess like a private club or something,
Mhm.
but where we performed was like the little like private VIP section that they kind of had roped off, and it was literally just like this giant black like mattress stage thing in the middle of the room.
Mhm.
And they had like, a few tables off to the side where people could sit and watch and all that. Um yeah, that's the most of what I can remember. It was so long ago. I think it's been over 10 years. It's been like 10
It's over
years.
10 years?
It's been like
Okay.
10 years.
Wow, okay. And that was your first one too, yeah.
Yeah. But I still remember. I don't know, just, life changing.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I've only done one live performance of a kinky nature in my life, and it was like a whipping scene with a sub in a New York party. And I remember like being so meticulous about it, the way I run it. And I was like, okay, 30 minutes. Here is the soundtrack for it. I'm going to like up intensity at the song, low, like go down intensity by that time,
Yes.
see how he's feeling, try to engage the crowd at the same time. But I think people don't realize like how much of a performance it is while still maintaining like authenticity and like being organic when you're topping, right?
Yeah, you're maintaining everything. You're maintaining like authenticity plus performance plus connection with both like your bottom and an audience because you're
Right.
still performing, but you're also still making sure that this human being you're topping is like safe.
Yes.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah,
It's a lot going
there's a
on.
lot of logistics I don't think people realize for something like that when it's happening live and to like make it good too.
And depending on what you're doing too, like it could be dangerous. Like you could be doing something kind of, that could cause like bodily marks.
Mhm.
Like it's a lot. It's so much.
Yeah, do you have a scene in mind where it's like maybe like the wildest scene you've done publicly before?
What do you mean publicly?
For a performance, yeah.
Oh, for
Like
the
live performance. What's the wildest live performance you've done? I
um
want a story.
Okay,
I know you have some.
I think just from memory, the wildest performance I could list, and it was like early on in my BDSM career too. Like I think I was like maybe like 20, 21. I think I was like 21. I was 21 when this happened. Um, I did a performance at Sanctuary. I
Mhm.
don't know if Sanctuary is still around or not, but if that club Sanctuary by LAX is still around, I did a performance at Sanctuary where my dom wrapped me in saran wrap, and then he did a suspension, but it wasn't a rope bondage suspension. It was a saran wrap
Oh,
suspension,
interesting. Uh-huh.
and he wrapped me and suspended me upside down in saran wrap, and then he beat me with a baseball bat, and then made me suck his while he was like beating me.
Like, oh my gosh, the image of like his getting sucked while he's also trying to like multitask is so fucking funny to me for some reason.
And I'm like wrapped up like a cocoon upside down. I was like, what?
How does that work? Like, is he like wrapping his arm around you, like beating your ass? Like, logistically, how does that like
The way
work?
he had it set up, it was similar to a rope bondage suspension where he had like his pulley system and he had like the saran wrap, and I was like fully wrapped and just completely upside down. So he didn't need to touch me at all. Like I was just free floating in the saran wrap, and so he was able to like walk around me in circles and like swing his bat.
Cute. I know. sometimes people say BDSM is like Looney Tune sex, and like this is the type of situation where I'm like, this is fucking Looney Tune sex.
It's Looney Tune sex, literally.
Like a bat tire suspended. How did it feel for you? Like be in that position, getting beat, having people watch you, sucking at the same time. There's a lot going on.
So exciting. So exciting. My favorite part was that people were watching. Like, I was like, this is batshit insane. Like, this is crazy making. I don't even know how I got here. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. My parents are gonna be pissed when they find out, like, about my second life. Like, what am I doing? But it was so fun. I was just like, the fact that people get to watch and enjoy and see me, like, explore these weird scenarios, but in a safe environment where people are, like, celebrating you and cheering you on and supporting you doing, like, just weird shit. It was the best.
I know that Saran wrap gets like really hot inside after a while. How sweaty were you when you were like cut out of it?
I was pretty sweaty. But I feel like that was, like, a good precursor to latex.
Oh, did you get in latex after too?
Well, later I started wearing latex, and once I started wearing latex, I realized how sweaty I
Oh
get.
my gosh, I had no breathing room at all.
What is that?
Yeah.
I wore latex to a porn convention one time where I was supposed to, like, sign things and meet fans all day long. When I tell you, I had water dripping, like, sweat was dripping down my legs, and I was like, guys, I'm not pissing myself. I'm not, I swear. And then luckily the booth right in front of me, they had silicone lube. And they were like, here, sweetie, like, here's some lube. Just put it on your skin, on your inner thighs, on your legs. And sure enough, lubing up made the sweat stop. So anyways, latex, sweat.
Yeah, like Saran wrap, latex.
It's a
It's a lot. Yeah, when I was cosplaying at Anime New York City, I was in like a latex cosplay. Girl, at the end of that day, like there was one person who picked me up in my costume, and there's a video of just sweat. Like it does look like I pissed myself in front of everyone. It's just like dripping on the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to work on this. I need to figure out some way around this.
Apparently, silicone lube.
I know, yeah. Like there has to be someone needs to like create latex that doesn't make you sweat so much.
Right? Because what is that? What is that?
Yeah. Okay, so I also know you're switchy and you eventually moved into like occasional pro dom work. What made you shift to like the more dominant side of things? Because it sounds like you enjoy the bottoming so much.
So I love bottoming, but eventually I moved into, like, the escorting realm, and one of my first clients was a bottom and wanted me to top him, and so I was like, "Ooh, okay, well, I've been bottoming for a few years now, and, like, I spend a lot of time around tops, and I see how they are, and, like, I kinda get that." So I was like, "I could absolutely do this safely because this is something that I've received
Yeah.
so much." And so, I took the client on, and I let them know too. I let them know. I was like, "This is my first time, but I'm excited." Um, and we had a blast.
What did you do?
Oh my God. Okay, so again, I'm like,
Dom virginity taken.
literally Dom virginity, and I'm like, baby sex worker, baby Dom, and this dude had me.
Oh my God, love it.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual experience.
It really is. Like, that changed my life because that was the first time I'd ever, like, realized that our bodies were capable of more. And it was the first time I realized I could get paid for doing, like, this to men. What? Like, what? Like, I can be the top now. And so yeah, that was intro to it.
So was your first time ever with a sub. Do you have any like favorite like pro dom session stories from the time when you were like switching around like that?
Yeah, so okay, one of my favorite things to do is, like, actively switch in the moment. So I think one of my most, like, memorable experiences was one time I had this session with my dom at the time, and then our, like, mutual submissive. So we just had this, like, random, like, fuck fest night that lasted hours where, like, I was topping my sub and, like, handling him and doing all this fun stuff while, my daddy was in the corner watching and enjoying, and then, like, later, once he watched me do my thing, then I got to turn it off and, like, go back to submitting, and then it was an interesting night where, it's just a lot of fun, a lot of dynamics rolling around just all in one.
That's really nice. Like, I do really appreciate switches and the versatility of that and be able to like explore all sides of yourself. What do you
Mhm.
think is like your favorite part of tapping to your dominant self?
Mm, I think I like the most about it is I feel like as, like, women and, like, femme presenting individuals, we really are conditioned, like, your whole life to, like, smile,
Mhm.
be nice, be soft, be all these things, and I feel like just being, like, a femdom shits on all of that. I
Mhm.
feel like, it really just helps me tap into, like, setting boundaries
Mhm.
and being more, adamant about my boundaries and my wants and my desires, and,
Mhm.
sometimes I think it's healthy to practice getting a little mean
Mhm.
when, someone welcomes it in, and also it allows me to really, really tap into, like, the spirit of receiving,
Mm.
um,
Mhm.
'cause yeah, it's just all the dynamics at play, but yeah, when I get to, like, dom people and top people, I really, really just, like, get to enjoy, like, sitting back and allowing myself to receive and letting myself know, like, "This is okay. I can have this. I can receive. I can take things on. Like, I can enjoy things too.
Mhm.
I can be devoted and worshipped and
Mhm.
catered to and served. I don't always have to do that, even though being the submissive and serving, still, you gain so much from it too.
Mhm.
It's just, two sides of the same coin, a
It
different aspect
I
of
was
it.
just gonna say that. It is really like 2 sides of the same coin. Yeah, like the give and take between a sub and a dom, but especially as like a woman in a dom position and being yeah, like kind of for most of our lives being taught to this is how you're supposed to like make a room feel good, or if you're in a social situation, this is how you're supposed to like navigate it, make everyone feel comfortable. And now you're like, no, I can set the tone myself and this is
Mhm.
how I wanna set the tone, and that is celebrated, and it's
Mhm.
okay, and how to do it well
Yeah.
is really beautiful. Do you have any favorite, like, kinks and fetishes when you're doming?
Ooh, I mean, my all around, like, just, like, overall kink, fetish, everything is,
Mhm.
so I just love butt stuff. I
Uh-huh.
I love, like, introducing newbies to butt stuff, and I love, like, you know, training and helping people with that in a safe manner. Because especially when you get to, like, the porn industry, there's this, like, trope of men, of, like, cis men who are like, "Let me train you, like, let
Mhm.
me I'm a dom, and
Ugh.
I can teach you how to take it in the ass, and let me train you." And, the further I got along, I always wondered, I was like, "How many times have they taken it in the ass? Like,
Mhm.
why are you training anybody? Like, have you practiced this? Have
Mhm.
you done this?" So I kinda like being in the space where, like, now I can, like, do that responsibly for people, cause I get a lot of girlies that are like, "Oh, I really wanna shoot my first
Mhm.
but I've never done it before.
Like an anal
I'm nervous."
mommy.
Literally,
Yeah.
literally, I love being, like, fairy godmother.
Mhm.
I typed up, like, a whole PowerPoint presentation of, like, for beginners.
That's amazing.
Yeah, oh yeah. When people hit me up for it, I'll send it to them. Like, I'll just be like, "Let me know." And I get a lot of fans too that are like, "Oh, my girlfriend, we watch your porn all the time. How can we?" And I'll be like, "Oh, here's my little
Oh
guide."
my god. Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Reach out to
everything.
her.
Yep. It's everything from like prep to just like training, toys, foreplay, working your way up to finally being ready for. so it's not traumatic for you.
Mhm.
And I think as a dom, like, that's my main thing, is just making sure people have, like, non-traumatic, pleasurable
Mhm.
experiences.
Yeah, people don't realize this, but if you have a bad experience with that, it's very invasive. Like I once had a sub who reached out to me and he's like, I had a really bad experience before where a girl tied him up, blindfolded him, and then pegged him without telling him, you know? And like that's the type of shit where like, oh my God, I'm sorry, like you went through that. Like there's definitely like
That's
good steps and processes to go about it.
Yeah.
Um, to give a little teaser of your PowerPoint, like what are those steps? What is that process to make sure it's like a welcoming, fantastic experience for whoever's receiving?
Okay, so, like, the basics of my little PowerPoint, and, I've worked in adult retail for quite a few years, and I, like, pick up little bits of
Mhm.
info and tips and tricks from all the different, like, adult retail brands and the toys and, like, the seminars, and I used to, like, teach classes at the sex shops too. So I kinda, like, pulled all of that and made this little PowerPoint, and it basically starts with, like, the clean out process and just all of that. It starts with, like, not even just the clean out process, but basically just, like, bodily process,
Mhm.
because it starts literally just with, like, your regular body functions.
Mhm.
I'm constantly paying attention to what I'm eating, when I'm eating it, timing out my digestive system, um, just, like, everything like that, my gut health, the supplements and vitamins I take daily
Mhm.
to uphold my gut health. So I kinda touch on a little bit of that, and then I touch on my cleaning process, and even that, I have a beginner cleaning process and, like, an expert cleaning process,
Mhm.
'cause, making that switch over, you can do, like, like a store-bought enema, or you could do these, like, crazy things that you, like, hook up into your shower, and it's like a shower enema, and you're
Mhm.
basically giving yourself, like, a 2-hour-long colonic. Um, I've had some trial and errors, and
Mhm.
I've hurt myself in the past, and I've learned a lot about body systems. So I kinda, like, just talked about that a lot in the
Yeah.
guide, like, easy clean out, expert clean out, like, different things you wanna factor in,
Mhm.
because I feel like that's the biggest thing, is most people tense up
Mhm.
because they're scared they're gonna poop. Everyone's scared to poop.
Uh-huh.
No one wants to poop during sex. That's no one wants Some people do, but not everybody wants to poop during sex. And so I feel like when people are so scared about pooping and having an accident, they tense up, and then that makes it painful.
Yeah.
So I really, really like to focus just on, like, clean out process and you're feeling okay in your body.
Mhm.
Because once you feel okay enough to just relax, like, that's where the fun starts.
Mhm. Amen to that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
What would constitute a basic clean out versus an expert clean out? Like, what type of scene needs a basic one? What types of scene needs a expert one?
Ooh, okay. I mean, that might be hard for me to answer because at this point I'm so all over the place with, like, just how I have my stuff down. Like, I've done, like, emergency clean outs, like, pull an enema out my purse and clean out within 10 minutes in, like, a random bathroom, and then, like, get a hardcore. I'm like, okay, woo. But, but typically I like to give myself at least like an hour and a half
Mhm.
anytime. But I feel like for me, a basic clean out is you get like a store-bought enema, or some people do like the enema bulbs, the reusable silicone
Mhm.
bulbs, but you get like an enema bottle. If I get the store-bought ones, like the Fleet enemas, I never use the saline solution in that, because that is immediately going to make you like diarrhea, and because
Mhm.
it's a laxative, so it's gonna
Yeah.
make you start, expelling liquid nonstop all day. So the first thing I do is literally just dump all that out, and then I just fill it with water.
Mhm.
Literally just warm water. You don't want it too cold, because that'll make your muscles kind of contract.
Mhm.
You want warm water, not too hot, because you don't want to burn your butthole. I've done that too. Oh,
Oh my god, I can't imagine, burning your butthole? Oh, no.
literally, I've gone through so much with my little booty hole. But yeah, warm water, nice room tip warm water, and I literally would just refill that and keep flushing out, flushing out, flushing out until I'm good. Um, Whereas like my expert clean out is I have the shower enema attachment. It's like my hose that I attach to my shower head, depending on where you are and how the water pressure is. And that I'm giving myself like a full on. I'm cleaning out my intestines. I'm cleaning out everything. I'm in there for 1.5 to 2 hours. I'm like TMI. Like sometimes I'll literally see like undigested food. Like I'm clearing out everything because
And that's for like or like
yeah.
like when they're going all the way. Yes.
Yes. The light I feel like I can get away with that if it's like if I'm doing like a regular scene, if it's like strap on, if it's a boy girl. But at this point, if I'm doing anything else, like if I'm doing a double penetration scene or like a double scene, or like like anything that requires like just more effort, more time, more work on the body, that's what I'm gonna do, like the expert level clean out. I don't want anything in my system because I just want to make sure I'm clear the whole day to just like rock it out. Because I've also had days where I'll shoot like 2 or 3 things in a day. So when you're shooting butt stuff from 10 a.m. to like 10 p.m., I'm like, might as well just we're gonna get everything out, flush it out, make sure I'm good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you need any expert advice, like she's the one for you. Like she absolutely knows.
I love it.
Yeah. And do you enjoy too then to like give it at the same time since you're like you know what it feels like?
Yeah, it's so fun. So my favorite things to do. I love people in the butt and letting people me in the butt because I still have this mentality of like I know my body, I can easily demo things. So like if I shoot content with someone and they're like, I've never used a strap on before, like I've never, I say, do you want to strap me in the butt? And I can still top you from the bottom. I can still teach you. I can still talk you through it. It's just, I have an indestructible butthole and I can walk you through it with the strap.
Invincible butthole.
Literally. So I like doing that with strap-ons and I love both buttholes, any gender, any butthole. Like I'm there. And then vice versa, letting people me for the first time. Like if no one's ever experienced that before and had their whole fist in someone, I'm always like, come on, like I'll welcome that.
Have you ever pussy before?
I think once, and it
How
was
does that feel for you? Is it different?
completely different. I felt like a virgin. Like to me, I'm so more like familiar with buttholes than I am vaginas, which is weird to say maybe, but yeah, for the first time, I had a hard time with it. She had to walk me through that, and I didn't feel very dominant because I was scared of hurting her. I was scared of just like not getting the right angle. To me, like the vaginal canal just feels so much different than like yeah. So yeah, I had a hard time. I struggled the first time I actively I struggled. She like literally I was like and she had to like grab my wrist and be like, no, like this.
Get it in there.
Literally, because my vagina doesn't work like that. It doesn't. I think I've had my once, which was interesting. But it really doesn't work like that. So to me, when I get to experience like topping people in aspects that I could not, it's new, it's exciting, it makes me nervous, but it was, a very memorable experience.
Yeah, it takes like a talented pussy to be able to take a vagina from like I've only done that once and it was because she like specializes in like at Katie Big Toys. I don't know if you yes, her.
I love Katie Big Toys.
Like, when I got my in her pussy, I was like, she was born to be a star.
Literally.
Like this is what this is meant for.
We have a scene where I see and then she
yeah. I love that. Oh my god. Because like I remember getting my hand in there and I was like, there's still more space. And I was, like, literally doing this because I was like, "This is what it's meant for."
She was another one that grabbed my arm and was like
Yeah,
this, and I was
she
like,
could she
"Katie, I'm punching
she could
you!"
fucking take it. It was crazy.
She's magnificent.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Such a talented festival. Oh my god. Just, like, having flashbacks of that right now.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Okay, so you pro subbed, you pro donned, and now you are primarily a porn performer.
Yeah.
Um, that has been, like, the majority of your career, right?
I'd say now it's about, like, half and half.
Half and half?
Half and
Okay.
half, yeah, I could think it was, like, about 5-ish years of,
Mhm,
like, just, like, doing, like, pro sub work and, like, the BDSM stuff and, like, kind of venturing into switch
mhm,
work, and then, like and yeah, it's been about 5 years of porn now.
mhm.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference between shooting, like, mainstream porn versus shooting or being in the BDSM scene?
Um, I think with the BDSM scene, it's like this weird juxtaposition because, like, oftentimes with BDSM, we're doing these performances in front of, like, large groups of people and large crowds of people and, like, parties and stuff, but it's still a very, like, intimate, connected experience
Mhm,
between the people performing because you're doing stuff that, it's you're playing with, like, bodily things and, like, you're taking care of each other, so I feel like it tends to be a little more personal and connected even though there's so much going on,
mhm,
whereas, like, on a porn set, it's a little less personal only because, like, you have it's less people there, but on set, you're still gonna have, like, the camera person and maybe, like, the lighting person and, like,
mhm,
the mic person, and, you're trying to do this BDSM scene, but you're also trying to be cognizant of, like, am I hitting the light? Am I opening up to the camera? Am
mhm,
I performing it properly that it's gonna be picked up on camera the right way? And am I not harming someone? And are we all safe and okay? And are we respecting, boundaries? Are we respecting safe words? When someone says their safe word, but then you also have a camera rolling and the shot might be so good, but like, this is still BDSM. Fuck your shot.
mhm,
We have to. So to me, it's a little more like just like multitasking cerebral when you're on a
mhm,
porn set and still realizing that, like, yes, we're on a porn set and we're producing a product,
mhm,
but, like, first things first, we're still people
mhm,
participating in, like, a very intimate, could be dangerous scenario.
mhm.
So you're just juggling a little more on the porn set, I think.
I see, okay. That's very interesting to know. Um, let's see. You also have, like, quite an extensive list of fun kinks and fetishes that you like, and I would love to dive into it one by one. Let's go back to the needle play that you talked about earlier. I love needles personally,
Yeah.
and I love doing it on people. How would you get into it?
I okay, so I think I always liked piercings, I grew up like standard. I liked piercings, but like, I was like that weird kid where when I was 15 years old, everyone was like, "Oh, I want to get my ears double pierced." And I was like, "Oh, I want to get like an industrial bar through my
Oh.
ear." And like that was the kicker. When I got that and felt that feeling of like an intense piercing, I was like, "Oh, I like this." So,
Ooh.
yeah, I just like the feeling. I don't know what it is. I like the
The
feeling.
penetration?
Yes, I love that type of penetration, that skin
Oh,
penetration.
shoot.
Please, do you wanna put some needles in
I would
me?
love to put some needles in you, yeah, and, like, maybe do something really pretty with it, like, lace it together and then maybe, like, do needle bondage too.
Needle bondage,
Yeah,
like
like, lacing putting it at, like, specific places and then, like, lacing it so that if you move, it kinda pulls on each other. Yeah, I've been
ooh.
really into, like, delicate bondage recently, and needles is, like, a really good tool for it. Yeah, and for me, like, I think it's, like, pretty romantic too, like, kind of something so light, but that still, like, pulls it together.
Literally.
Yeah, what's a needle scene that you really resonated with in the past?
I remember one time me and some friends came together and we organized a play party. It was, like a, a queer POC play party.
Mhm.
And one of my friends there, it was a newer friend. Like I'd kind of known them a bit, but we'd never played before or anything. And they were like, "Hey, I brought my needles. If you'd wanted to do this." And I remember I had been in a party like previous to that and wanted to do needle play. Um, but I was too drunk at that first party,
Mhm.
and the person doing the needle play was a beautiful human being that recognized that I was too drunk to
Mhm.
play.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, and so they were like, "Absolutely not, like, I'm not putting needles in you, like,
Uh-huh.
no." And, I remember, like, throwing a fit and being all sad, and I was whining and whatever. And so here comes this next play party where I was sober and there for play and, like, just ready to go, and my friend was like, "I brought my needles if you wanted to try." And I was like, "Absolutely."
Mm.
And so, yeah, I just remember we went and found ourselves, like, our own little corner, of the room and just, like, made our own little, like, bed on the floor with, like, blankets and pillows. And I remember literally just, like, laying down on my back and taking deep breaths while my friend put in a few rolls of needles in my chest right here.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a nice area for it.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice 'cause, it's like meaty, got
Yeah.
a lot there. So it was nice, and it was also nice too because I could see it.
Mhm.
I realized I like seeing it. I like seeing the needles go in.
Mhm.
Like, even when I go to get my blood drawn, I know a lot of people are, like, dramatic, and they're like, "Oh, I don't wanna see it. I can't." And every time I go, the doctor's like, "Oh, like, are you gonna be okay? Like, do you need to look away? Did you eat?" And I'm literally just staring at it like, "No, do it. I'm ready. Like, I
Yeah,
have
like,
to
get
see
that
it.
in me.
Yeah, get that in me right now. Let's go." Like, I'm ready. But I have to tell them, like, not in a weird way. Like, I swear, like, I don't shoot up drugs. Not that anything's wrong with that, but, I'm like, "No, I just have a needle fetish, which might be weirder." Like,
I mean, I think that's really hot. It's so funny because I'm like, I don't like even seeing the needle going into me when I'm getting my blood drawn. Like, I'm
no,
so squeamish about it, but if I'm topping, I'm like,
you're fine doing
it
it.
feels so good doing it. Yeah, it's a totally different experience for me.
Do you like getting piercings?
I used to have more piercing on my ears, and then it just like it keeps on getting infected, so I only just have two.
So you just take them out.
Yeah, I'm a little like my body's not meant for piercings. Yeah, it's really sad.
That's fair.
But that's why maybe that's why I do it on other people.
Right?
Like a little like experience I can't have myself. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You've also done flesh hook suspensions. For those of you who
Mhm.
don't know what flesh hook suspensions are, what would you how would you explain it to people?
So the best way I could describe it, it felt like a very ritualistic experience.
Mhm.
But also like a self-growth experience. But
Mhm.
essentially, flesh hook is where they pierce your skin with like really, really large hooks. So like
Mhm.
almost like a fish hook, like if you could imagine, it's like a large human hook. And
Mhm.
you can do it on various parts of the body. One thing you learn during flesh hook suspension is that the skin is an amazing organ. It is a tough organ. The skin can withstand a lot. So you can essentially kind of pierce yourself in a lot of different parts of your body. And then again with your same like pulley system as a rope suspension, you pull up and you suspend, only instead of being tied up with rope, you're suspending from your pierced skin.
Mhm.
Um and yeah.
Yeah, I think flesh truck suspensions are really, really cool. The way it looks like when a person's suspended is like, you see the skin stretch up a little bit where the hooks are at.
Mhm.
The ones that I've seen personally are on the back, so they're kind of
Yeah.
like lifted up in that way. And obviously, this is like high risk play, so you
Mhm.
have to play with someone that knows what they're doing, knows where they're
Yes.
piercing, so that it doesn't rip, or cause any, like, injuries.
Right, or
Mhm.
infections or anything, like, you wanna make sure it's with a dedicated team.
Mhm.
Luckily for me, just from doing performances in the BDSM realm, I met some cool people that were like, "This is what we do." They do it professionally, they travel around to different cities,
Mhm.
and, they even have, like, cons and expos where they do this stuff, and, So, I found a really, really good group. And it's so funny too, because like I told my mom about it. I tell my mom like most of
I
the crazy
love
shit I
that.
do. Yeah. And I remember she like freaked out. She was like, "Oh my God, like you're doing all this crazy stuff, like blah blah, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, like I hope you don't get in trouble with law enforcement. Like, what is this
Mhm.
cult?" And I had to be like, "No, mom, like we did this at 2 p.m. in the park in San Pedro, like overlooking the ocean, and it was beautiful. The cops walked by and said hello. They
Mhm.
stopped by. They do this every Sunday. Like, people were walking by and saying hello and taking pictures and, like, stopping to be like, whoa, what's going on here? But, I was like, it's not as scary as it
Mhm.
sounds when you say it out loud. It's just, some weirdos doing weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, overlooking the ocean too, I think that's really beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I've heard that flesh hook suspensions is kind of a spiritual experience when you're up there. Like there's very few like highs similar to that.
Literally,
What does it feel like
literally.
for you, like in your body when you like lift it up and you can feel your literal skin holding you up there, right? There's nothing else holding you up except for like your own body.
So, okay, I've done it twice, both times from my back,
Mhm.
and both times I never got myself off the ground just
Mhm.
from standing.
Mhm.
Both times, because it's such a mental thing. Like, that's the biggest thing about it to me. The piercing aspect, like, no problem. That's fine. I think people go like one of two ways. Either you have a really hard time with the piercing and you suspend easy, or, vice versa.
Mhm.
So for me, the piercing was nothing. They did that. I was like, oh, I could take a nap. It feels so great. To get up
Mhm.
mentally, I could not like compute that
Mhm.
I'm standing here and any second, like my feet's gonna come off the ground and I couldn't do it. So both times I had my friends come stand with me and I was like, "Can I like spider monkey on you and like hold you?" And then from there, once they like get me lifted up enough, I can like let go on my own.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute.
Yeah, so I did that both times. This year, I really, really want to suspend again this year because it's been so long. So this year, my goal is to
Mhm.
actually like get off the ground, just not touching anyone else on my own 2 feet.
On your with your own willpower.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
And then one day, the goal is to actually hold the rope and pull yourself up and suspend yourself. No one else, like just like get yourself up there.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some friends be able to do that,
Uh-huh.
and that it's all mind over matter. It's
Yes,
you
yeah.
connecting with yourself in such an intense way and, like, trusting yourself and your body in a way that, like,
Mhm.
you wouldn't normally imagine. I'm like, "Yeah, I wanna get there to be able to just get
Yeah,
myself up."
literally pulling yourself up and like getting yourself off the ground with like 2 points. What does that stretching feel like when you're up there?
It didn't feel too crazy, honestly. It
Mhm.
felt like a little pressure. Like,
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay, like, it's pressure," but after a few minutes, you really, really do just get used to it, like, your brain really will, like, settle into what is
Mhm.
happening and what you're feeling. Um, so once I could settle into that, they were, like, doing all kinds of stuff. They were, like, twirling me around in circles and, like, spinning me around, pushing me, and I was just like, "Ah!" But,
Uh-huh.
like, you realize, like, "Okay, like, this is fine.
Uh-huh.
This
And your skin can hold.
your skin can hold."
Yeah,
So
that's
from there, yeah, I
amazing.
started, like, twirling around and moving my legs, and I'm like, "Oh, we can, like, dance up
You're
here."
like a little marionette.
Exactly, just
Oh my
it's
gosh, that's
fun.
so cute. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't know about flesh hook suspension, so this is like really cool to talk about. And yeah, make sure you do it safely with people who know what they're doing.
Always,
Mhm.
always.
Always. You let's move on to the next fetish. Is there anything else you want to say about flesh hook suspensions that people might not know about, that they should know about?
Um, I don't know too much else. I haven't done, like, extensive research on it,
Mhm.
but I will say, I mean, I'm assuming that, like, it stems from, like, you know, way back when and different cultures and, like, different spiritual, ritualistic experiences.
Mhm.
Um, so I always tell people just, like, don't knock it until you really, really just, like, think about it and see what it is and see what it can do and like see how it affects people who do experience it.
Mhm.
But also, it's not for everyone. It
Mhm.
really isn't. But for the people who are curious about it, like life-changing experience, life-changing.
Mhm. Mm. The next fetish I want to talk about is your clown fetish.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh, I love clown fetishes. Like so much of BDSM is silly, right? Like
So silly.
it's silly, it's fun, it's like Comedy Central on crack oftentimes.
I
Um
feel like that's why we call it play, because we're all
yes.
like grown-ups, but just playing and like releasing, like that inner freedom that we let go of once you become a grown-up and start paying bills.
Yes, absolutely. Like the ability for a play space to just be like I want to do something really silly and like weird and wacky, and I think the clown fetish really taps into that. Um, what have you done with a clown fetish before, and what do you like about it?
Okay, so my clown fetish started because I used to have a friend, and her birthday was on New Year's, and she was a professional clown.
Mhm.
And her mother was also a professional clown.
A nepo baby clown?
Literally, I was like, wow, I've never experienced this in my life. I was magic. She was magic. She's magic. She's still magic. Um, and so every year for her birthday, she would have this party called Clown Wars,
Mhm.
where we would all go to the house and dress up as clowns, and you have to, put clown makeup on and do a clown outfit, and whatever clowning is to you,
Mhm.
you come as your best, most authentic clown, and then from there, we literally just like had a birthday party, and it was shenanigans, and you just drink and have fun and be silly, and then at the end of the night, they set up tarps in the backyard and handmade a bunch of meringue pies,
Uh-huh.
and we'd go out back and have a pie fight.
Oh my god, that's so much fun.
And then at the end of the pie fight, we'd all jump into the big shower downstairs and like rinse off and get naked and sexy. And then it would like lead to sexy time,
Uh-huh.
So it was just so like fun and freeing to like be silly. And
Mhm.
I think that was like my first experience ever of like legit clowning and just, like anything like that. So after that, like it almost became a personality trait for me. Like every year for Halloween, I'm a clown. Like, that's it. I'm a clown. Every year I'm trying out different clown makeup,
Mhm.
different clown aesthetics. Um, I produced a really, really dope clown porno one time that actually got nominated for like a fan vote AVN award.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I was so proud of that. To this day, it's like the best piece of content I've ever produced in my life, and
Okay,
it's
give me the details of that.
okay. I'll give you the details. I literally I hit up my porn crush, who's like, like this like hot, sexy man, just like, been around the block for forever, like porn legend. And I hit him up and I'm like, hey, I really, really want to have clown sex. So like, will you do this with me? I was like, how weird are you willing to get with me? Like, can we? And he's a sweet angel. He was like, yeah, like whatever you want to do. Like, I'm gonna show up and you do like whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
And so, he shows up and I bring in a makeup artist. She puts me in this beautiful clown makeup, like the most gorgeous I've ever looked in my life. When I tell you, I wish I could wear that makeup every day for the rest of my life. Just beautiful, beautiful. And I put in these like crazy white contacts. So it's like intense, crazy eyes. It's a little creepy, but it's also still sexy because I'm in lingerie and, I have this beautiful hair. And I really like playing around with that. I just like playing around with like feelings and sensations.
Mhm.
And I know so many people are scared of clowns. So I'm like, okay, let's give you like a weird, scary clown, but also make it kind of sexy so you get a confused boner.
Uh-huh.
I love a confused boner.
Ah, the
The
best.
best. I want you to have it and not know why it's there.
Yeah.
Um and so, and then he shows up and he's so forward. He has long hair, so we put his hair up in ponytails,
Mhm.
and I pop some color contacts in his eyes, and the makeup artist does this fun stuff with him, and I like got his outfits. I like ordered him an outfit and everything, and my videographer set up his living room to look like a circus tent.
Oh my
Like
god.
everyone just went like so above and beyond for this because I was like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, I I love clowning. And Halloween was coming up, so I was like, this is my one excuse to do this, even though I want to do it every day. Like,
Yeah.
can we like do it?
It's a porn made with love.
Literally, like so much love and attention was poured into that porno. Like, I even asked homeboy, I was like, not to be weird, but like, can I like puke up like black tar on you? Like, I just want to puke up like just black looking weird liquid on you because like, why not? Evil clown, like,
Yeah.
why not? And he was like, sure, whatever, down. Like, I'm getting my.
Awesome.
He's so great. He was just so down. And so I got some charcoal powder and mixed it in my water and like just chug that. And so at some point during like the BJ portion, I started like puking up just like
Oh my
charcoal
gosh.
water, but with the contacts and the seat, it just looked so visually pleasing and cool and like neat. And yeah, the clown porno. It's like my favorite thing I've ever done.
I need to watch that. Honestly, I was like, where has this been my whole entire fucking life?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. It was
Please.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, I need to see that so bad. I had a friend, what was it? Like there was a clown gangbang, but they all, came out of a small car together. You know what I mean? They all like came out like honking their fucking noses and then did a clown gangbang on this girl, and I think she had like a kazoo in her ass too. So when they were fucking her, it was like making like little like like honking noises the entire time. And then after the scene was done, like they all like scrambled back into the car. But like this reminded me of that, like the creative ways we can go about like playing with sexuality and just like making it fun and weird and like funky is limitless with
limitless. I need you to send me that video
yes,
for research
I'm
purposes.
gonna reach out to her and I mean, look, I think like you should recreate that with
What?
some performers. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, you don't understand. That'd be so much fun. Oh, that'd be the horniest time of my life. They come out of a clown car?
Yeah, and
Instant orgasm. Instant orgasm. Like, instant.
Fuck, they're coming out of the car.
Oh my god, fuck!
Oh my god, there's five coming
There's
out.
5 of the clowns! Oh!
Oh my god, I'm gonna come at 6.
Look at his shoes!
It's like a JOY coming in. Like the bigger when you know what they say, the bigger the shoes. Oh, that is way too good. I can go on and on about clown fetishes
So
forever.
so much.
Yeah, do you like their like big noses too? Like the red ones?
I love it all. Honestly, my favorite thing about clowning is like, to me, it's like pure expression. Like, no matter like the nose, the makeup, if you're doing like the full white clown face or just like, the little in betweens, whatever it is, like, I'm just like, it's expression. You can make a sad clown, a happy clown, like, like what am I feeling? What is underneath my clown makeup? I love it all. I have like a bucket at my house with like clown stuff, so I have like clown
Under your bed, casually.
It's like I have like clown hats and clown noses that you can wear.
If you ever get sad, you just pull it out, you put it on yourself, and you're like, my depression's gone.
Literally.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, one last kink and fetish to dive into. You have a foot fetish that stems from being a ballerina for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's a big one, a foot fetish.
I love feet.
Do you like worshiping feet or do you like your feet being worshipped? Or is it like the same thing to the switchy side?
Yeah, it's a switch. I'm pure switch through and through. I love everything. Like, I'm greedy. I wanna do it, but I wanna receive it. Everything about whatever it is, I'm into it. So yeah, same thing with feet. Like, I can have a full-blown orgasm from someone like sucking my toe.
Oh my god, I wish I can.
Oh,
Oh my god.
oh, it's so
I
good.
wish I can.
It's so good. I'm crazy about feet. If someone's like playing with my feet or stimulating my feet with their mouth, I can pretty much instantly. If someone is in the butt while also touching my feet, I'll probably like shit out a ring and propose. Like, it's that bad. It's like, oh. But then vice versa, I get really, really excited about other people's feet.
Ooh. What's your favorite kind of feet? I know foot fetishes are like particular about it. Or are you like, I like a lot of different types of feet.
I like a lot of different types of feet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. Just like, I like feet. Like, okay, so growing up dancing, everything is your feet and your point and your arches. And then you're spending hours every week stretching on a floor that smells like feet. So you're like, I'm like face on the floor. Like, damn, everything, my whole life smells like feet. Like my dance bag smells like feet. The car smells like feet because the dance bag, like, just, it was life. um, but I really, really liked it because I'm like, oh, like, look at that arch. It's so beautiful. Look at the way those feet look in that turn. Like, just feet are so pretty to me. They're such a pretty tool on the body. So yeah, I just like admiring people's feet and seeing, like, are they flat-footed or do they have an arch, or like how people have different toe lengths, like sometimes that second toe's longer, sometimes
longer.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's that like?
I feel like I should get off my shoes right now.
I'm like, stop, I'll get so excited.
This is gonna turn into a shoot.
Literally.
Do you like men's feet too, or is that harder to come about? Because I feel like men don't really take care of their feet.
I like when men take care of their feet.
Yeah.
If they don't take care of their feet, I get frustrated. Like, I've begged partners in the past, like, to come get pedicures with me so I can suck on their toes later, and they're like, no, I don't want you to suck on my toes. And I'm like,
Yeah,
but why?
men are so weird about their feet.
They really are.
They really are. Like, they're like, I don't get a pedicure, it has to be like masculine or whatever the fuck it means, and that just means I don't take care of it very well.
Right.
And that's why they keep their socks on during sex. It's vulnerable. Showing feet for a man is so vulnerable. Like, they'll get completely naked. You'll see everything
With
the socks on.
With the socks. I've never understood the socks on.
Yeah.
Every now and then when the guys keep the socks and the shoes on, I'm like, okay.
During sex?
Only during literally only during
You can see my feet.
They're like, there's other men here. No, I don't want them
They
looking
don't
at
want to
feet.
see my toes curl.
But also, I feel like during so much is happening and moving around that I'm like, okay, if you need the grip, I'll give you that excuse. If you need the grip for the floor, fine. One-on-ones, no, we need to be completely naked. But yeah, no, they're just so scared about being vulnerable and showing their feet. That's I love the guys that are into feet, because there's some of those guys that are like, no, like, lick my foot, and they put it in your face and like they'll step on your face.
Yeah.
I like those guys.
That's a dominant move, like stepping on your face. Like,
Literally, that's so dumb. I love that. I like when the dynamic's right. I like when someone steps on my face. I like foot in my mouth type scenario. Whoever, girls, guys, like I like the feet stimulation. It's fun. I've even had a foot in my butthole.
Really?